From the heart of Houston, it's fun, it's engaging, it's Chattin' with Chelsea. She's daytime's new bestie. Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards. Come back to me.
Hey, besties, thank you for joining me for another Chattin' with Chelsea. I am your hostess, Chelsea Edwards. Okay, you know, some of my besties that I have on the show, they like to bring their own bottle. And I cannot wait for you to meet this one. She is an incredible woman, the CEO and founder of Uncle Nearest Whiskey, Fawn Weaver. So the Uncle Nearest, if you haven't heard, it actually honors the first known African-American master distiller, Nearest Green. A lot of history there. So she stopped by the studio while on her book tour. The book is Love and Whiskey. It's an instant New York Times bestseller. Just an incredible run so far. We got to chat with her for a while, but first, she actually posted this video because we've been seeing all sorts of drinks pop up from celebrities like LeBron James and Beyonce. People were asking her, what was her response to that?
So many of you have been asking me, how do I feel about Beyonce's new whiskey partnership with Moet Hennessy? And how do I feel about LeBron's new Moet Hennessy partnership on cognac? Y'all around these parts in Tennessee, we have nothing but love for the king and for our queen. But since y'all are entering the industry, I do have one piece of advice if you would like to take it. Take all their money.
Yes, she can take all my money because that is some good whiskey there. So we talked to Fawn, not just about the whiskey brand, but also why more women are getting into it. And also her journey as an entrepreneur and building $1 billion business. So lots of good stuff in this interview. Take a look. Let's start 7 years ago. Where were you?
7 years ago, I was in Singapore in terms of this particular story and came across the story of Nearest Green on the cover of the New York Times International Edition.
Oh, wow. So for people who aren't familiar, Nearest Green.
Yes, Nearest Green is the first known African-American master distiller, the original master distiller for Jack Daniel, his mentor, his teacher. And now we just get to carry on the legacy. His great-great-granddaughter does it through Uncle Nearest. And I'm honored to be able to lead that.
I mean, and you were leading the fastest growing whiskey brand in the U.S. What has that journey been like the past 7 years?
Yeah, the journey has been wild.
I'm sure.
You know, I tell people all the time, if you're the quitting kind, do not get into entrepreneurialism. It just is not a good idea. It's not a good fit.
Yeah.
Because every day you have something that will make you want to quit. Like when you have a company that is fast growing in macroeconomics are constantly changing and you're maneuvering things and navigating teams and people and a company through the middle of macroeconomics that are all over the place, it's wild. Okay. It's a wild ride, but I'm grateful to be able to lead it.
Nice. So some people are going to hear macroeconomics and say that is way above my pay grade. I don't deal with that.
All the crazy stuff going on in the country and in the world right now that you know you don't have any control over, and so you have to pivot your company and constantly move your company through things that you have no control over. So it's one thing if the world or the country wasn't as dynamic and moving as it is, and you're like, okay, I have this company, I have this product, that's all I need to focus on. But when you're in an environment where everything is changing around you, you're constantly having to pivot what you're doing on an almost daily basis in order to continue to move forward and to stay ahead.
So your advice for the entrepreneurs out there, looking at everything that's going on, world, politics, all that stuff, how do you inspire them or stay inspired? I know a lot of people look at your story and that's enough, but what do you say to them to keep that focus and keep that motivation?
They just have to keep going.
Okay.
So every entrepreneur that we celebrate in America, I mean, every single one, if they came up from nothing or little to nothing, we all have the same story. And there were so many moments along the way where you just like, let me just quit or let me sell because this is just too hard. And so if you are a person who is going to quit, you shouldn't begin.
Oh,
That's
people are not going to like that far.
But it's true. But it's true. Because failure isn't failure unless you give up before you succeed.
Oh.
It literally doesn't exist. So there's never been a person to fail that did not first give up.
Ooh.
So the nature of being an entrepreneur is you have to just keep going until you get to the success you seek.
Wow.
Any moment between now and you reaching that failure is on you quitting.
Okay, you're about to make me pour a little something to that. We need to toast to that. So for all these women who see your success where you are now, I bet there's some curiosity as to how you go about your daily life. Like as a normal person, not macroeconomics, but maybe like mac and cheese for dinner. Like, what's your morning routine?
Listen, I'm fried catfish and grits all day long.
I like
so
that.
I do love my mac and cheese, but if I have an option, it's fried catfish and grits. My morning routine is literally I get up and I go after it immediately. I get up, I pray. Right now, because I am out there on this book tour, if I were back home, I'd spend time, and I actually have time in the morning to have coffee with my husband, to spend time with here, I'm just trying to get as much sleep as I can. So I literally, the moment I get up, I'm going. And that is just get dressed and hit the day. But for the most part, my days are almost always at least 16 hours, always.
Wow.
And I try to make sure that I get 8 hours of sleep. The one consistent, no matter how crazy my week is, the one consistent is I take Sunday off, meaning I don't do anything. I don't respond to texts. I don't look at email. I don't do any work at all on Sundays. I literally do nothing but lay around, have really good food, really good cocktails, and just lay back.
And everybody knows that you cannot be accessed on Sundays.
For 30 years.
Yeah, you set that boundary. Nice. Okay, are there any little treats or something, like something you do on a day during these 16-hour days?
Yeah.
Like, keep yourself.
You know what? Everybody is different. I am built to build.
Okay.
Like some people, the climb is to get somewhere, and so what motivates them is to get somewhere. I'm motivated by the climb itself. So I have so much enjoyment every single day and knocking challenges out of the park. Like a lot of people run from challenges or it'll make them stop, and don't get me wrong, I don't love challenges, but I'm built to overcome them. And so every day I'm just overcoming challenges, and I get to the end of the day and I'm like, I did that.
You did.
I'm gonna have to do that again tomorrow.
Give yourself a little pat on the back. All right.
Yeah, I don't require pats from anybody else. I pat myself on the back every day.
All right, coming up after this break, we're going to talk more with Fawn about her book, Love and Whiskey, and also some great advice for business owners.
Come back to me.
We're back with more of our interview with Fawn Weaver, the CEO and founder of Uncle Nearest Whiskey. We dive into her book, Love and Whiskey, and she also helps us find our purpose. You put a lot of work into this.
Put a lot. That's 8 years in the making. So we were super excited just as a collective team. Of how, a book like that, we're talking about 30 archivists, archaeologists, genealogists, historians, and all these people that have come together, nearest his family. So it was very, very much so a collective celebration.
So this is Nearest Green.
That's actually his son, George Green. That's his son, George Green.
Okay, and then...
That's Jack Daniel.
Jack Daniel.
Yes.
Very cool. Such an incredible story that you have delved into. So when it comes to doing this book, was this something that you always wanted to do, or you just...
Yeah, when I began the process, it was to do this book. And it is just, Uncle Nearest began to become the focus, as it should, because that's essentially what's going to cement the legacy of Nearest Green. People will talk about what is in this book, which is great, but it's only in service to Uncle Nearest because that's what people are going to still be seeing on shelves 100, 200 years from now.
Yes.
This book will be, in some library out of print, where the bottles will continue to be flowing around the world.
So for people out there really trying to figure out, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
Where do you recommend recommend they start?
You know, that one's such a tricky question, because so many people through school, through college, through the community and parents have been molded and shape-shifted in such a way that they wouldn't even recognize who they were created to be in the first place. So many people are really more so representatives of themselves than they are their actual selves. Most people are more concerned about not even what people think of them, but more so what they think people think of them. And they make adjustments based on what they think people think of them.
Ooh, a word.
So for when you're talking about purpose, the thing that I always recommend for people is go back to your 7-year-old self, even if you've got to talk to other people, because you will recognize if you spend any time with 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old, they'll tell you who they are. They'll tell you what they're meant to do. They'll tell you if they're meant to lead. They'll tell you if they're meant to build. They'll tell you. And then if you allow that child to grow up and you develop that, they'll become exactly who they were placed on earth to become. What happens is usually as they continue to go through school, then people start telling them who they are. And they listen. Or parents, they don't have the patience because they have multiple kids or whatever, then they start trying to get the kids to be more like each other because it's a little easier to control that than really taking the time to know and develop each child individually. And so because I left home so early, I think just nobody ever had a chance to mold me.
Oh, wow. So that really played a role in
without question. If I could do it all over again, I would leave again at 15. Maybe 14.
Let's not waste any more time.
Because when I talk to people and they're still trying to figure out who am I, what is my purpose, all the rest, I'm like, y'all, I did that at 20. I've been done. And so I've been able to live this life fully intentional from the time I was 20 years old. I was with one of my team members, actually my team member here in Houston, Brenton, last night. And he said when people ask him about me, the thing he says more than anything is Fawn Weaver is the most intentional person I've ever met. And I think that is because that intention was set early, and I just went for it and decided when I was 20, not only am I not going to be shape-shifted and molded by other people, but I'm going to live this life the way I was created to live it. And I have absolutely no care in the world about anybody's opinion about it.
Coming up, we've got more of our interview with Fawn Weaver. She opens up about how she makes time for her husband while being a CEO, and also their journey to try to expand their family. And if you're interested in getting into whiskey, she's got some great recipes to get you started. All right, we'll be back after this. Fawn Weaver is an incredible boss woman. She pulled herself up by her bootstraps to create a billion-dollar company. So now we get into her family life. She's been married to her husband Keith for 21 years, and they've tried many, many times to expand their family. Here's more of her story. Let's talk about family life. You've been married more than 2 decades?
Yes, 21 years this year, and my husband is my favorite person in the world. This isn't like the social media kind of love.
This is real.
The real love in the house, cameras off type of love. He is absolutely my dearest friend, and he's the person I admire more than anybody in the world, person I respect more than anybody in the world, and he's the only person that I don't care where I am and what I'm doing. If that phone rings and it's him, I'm picking it up, and everybody else has to be on hold.
Is that how you stay connected, even with all the traveling and all the business?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, no matter what either one of us are dealing with, if that phone is one of us, we're picking that up.
Okay, I love that. That's a good rule to follow there. And so you had also been on a IVF journey, adoption journey. Things just didn't really pan out, and I know a lot of women are experiencing that as well. How did you make peace with not becoming a mother the way that you originally thought you would?
I pretty much always had peace with it, because I believe that our lives, if we allow God to actually lead our lives, then we actually have to let God lead our lives. So that means he gets to make the call as to whether or not my purpose in life involves motherhood. That was his decision. And so the part that I could do is still try to actually have children, which we did. We had 4 or 5 IUIs with hormones, and then we did 4 IVFs. one surrogacy, 2 adoptions. We tried all those things, and none of them worked. But each time it didn't work, it was like, okay, let's just try again. Okay, let's just try again. But I was never in a mindset of it didn't work and then I'm just breaking down in tears and all the rest of that stuff. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with people that do. My point is that I had already turned over that portion, and so it's like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, but if God says no, I'm good with that no. And I think a lot of people are not good with that no. Yeah. I was absolutely, and when I look at what I'm doing and how hard I go and what I've been able to achieve, what people don't understand is that if that particular prayer had been answered, none of this would exist. I wouldn't have, the risk was too great on this. It still is. Yeah. The risk is too great, and the amount of time that I am away from home is too much. I absolutely would not have made that sacrifice. God knew that. Yeah. And he's like, no, this is what I have for you to do, so kids aren't going to be a part of your journey.
Wow.
And I'm okay with that.
Awesome. Okay, so it's obvious that you prioritize your spirituality.
Oh, absolutely.
Was there ever a time when you did not believe in God?
When I was young, like when I was teenager. And it's not that I didn't believe in God, I didn't believe in who other people said God was. I spent the time when I was 20, just religion overall. And when I was 20 years old, I spent the time to read the Bible cover to cover, like literally to go cover to cover, but then to go back through it and only read the words in red, because I wanted to hear what was important to Christ.
Straight from the mouth.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And so, but then since then, I've read the Bible many times. And so you can't convince me of what I'm supposed to do, because I'm going to tell you to back it up in the Word. And by the way, I'm going to know where you're headed.
Hey.
So,
like,
let's
open your Bibles, please.
Listen, so even when I go to churches or I watch it online or whatever, and there is a scripture that comes up and they start diving into it, if I don't know the context around that particular story, or if they're adding elements to it, as soon as that thing is over, I'm in my word and I'm like, nah, I want the whole piece, because I'm not going to let you tell me something I have access to myself.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us, where we disconnect from our faith, is really, truly, we just don't have the knowledge. We haven't taken the time to dive into it ourselves. We let somebody else tell us their understanding.
And that's something that you have to make the time for if you want to get on that level.
Oh, you have to.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of getting on levels, whiskey.
Yes, yes.
More and more women are getting into whiskey.
Well, absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
First of all, because it's pure. So people who are drinking tequila, there's so much sugar added in tequila that's coming into the United States, because there's not like regulations, or people who used to like Canadian whiskey and things like that. There's not regulation. But when it comes to bourbon, like legitimate bourbon, which Uncle Nearest is, and Tennessee whiskey, which Uncle Nearest is, you can't add stuff to it. So you know exactly what you're getting in the bottle. I think that that's a part of it. I think also women are a little over people telling us what is for men and what is for women. And so for so long, we were told bourbon is for men. And we're like, oh, is it? So I think that is also playing into it, is that we don't want to continue to be told that something is for one gender and it's not for the other gender, especially because historically, just in our society, the man has been the stronger of the species and the woman is like the weaker, the damsel in distress type of thing. Right. And so I think women are figuring out, no, we're pretty strong. And so we want all the things you said that we don't like, that we don't want to do, we're going to do them and decide that for ourselves.
Yes.
And so I think women, so with Uncle Nearest, our consumer base is 50% women.
Oh, wow. That's higher than
everybody.
Average. Yeah.
Than everybody. Okay. Even our distillery, 7th most visited distillery in the world, not just for bourbon or whiskey, but all distilleries, taking into account tens of thousands of distilleries. Ours is the 7th most visited distillery in the world. And we have the sensors. When people come in, we have the infrared sensors. So it tells us if people are women or if people are men, and we're almost exactly 50-50.
Okay, so for women watching who are like, I am not a damsel, I want to get into this whiskey, where do you recommend they start?
Oh, I would recommend you start either with that 1884, which is the cream label, that's 93 proof, it's our lowest proof, But the thing is, a lot of people start here with the 1856, which is 100 proof, but it doesn't drink like 100 proof. But I would recommend one of these. I would not recommend that straight from the barrel cask strength that's in front of you. Now that
work your way up.
Work your way up. Now that's what I would go for. That is my drink. But I would absolutely work your way up from that.
Any mixers or anything?
You know, I am a big fan of putting 2 ounces of Uncle Nearest, 1 ounce of lime, 1 ounce of simple syrup, and serving it up. So meaning not on ice, but actually making it, chilling it, however you want to chill it, pop it in the freezer if you know how to shake, all that stuff. It's technically a classic daiquiri, which is made, it's a rum cocktail. A classic rum cocktail, but I love it with Uncle Nearest, especially with that 1884. It's phenomenal, and anybody can make that at home.
Okay, yeah, because we definitely know how to shake,
it's
right?
So good.
All right. So good. You know, after that interview, I did try Uncle Nearest, and let me tell you, it hit the spot. So I'm going to be trying many more recipes with that whiskey. All right, guys, keep it here. We'll be back after this commercial break with our final takeaway.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is confirmation for some of you, encouragement for others. Do not let the world box you in. Be exactly who God called you to be, which means that every experience in your life brought you to this moment, this exact moment. God made you multifaceted. Cheers.
Well, cheers to you too, Fawn Weaver. Thank you so much for coming by our studio. And thank you for watching another Chattin' with Chelsea. Remember, as Fawn said, don't let the world box you into being inauthentic. Be you. And the only person who can set limits on you is you. So live the life that you want. Keep up with us at Chelsea Show Fox on social media, and we will see you on the next Chattin' with Chelsea.